Yes, Vash is different from what you might have been used to, but he still very much captures the essence of his character. His hair used to look like this, now it looks like this. Those who've actually read the manga should understand. And no, don't worry, we won't be going over those kinds of spoilers with these reviews, just what Stampede gives us itself. As I've stated before, anime trailers can be very misleading. Vash is as much of a goofy little character as he's always been. The context for why Vash is tied up and is yelling for someone is so truncated and makes the trailers feel a lot more serious than reality, as Meryl and De Niro weren't the ones who tied Vash up, and Vash is yelling for some ammo, like $6 million double dollars bounty. Introduction of that jade looking arm was spot on. He is a gunman who can't fight, but a plant specialist who isn't an engineer? What is Vash really? Town loves him when they are saved, but not while they are in trouble. A humanoid typhoon is a pretty scary moniker to have, and the dichotomy of Vash and the town itself really calls it all to attention. So we shall see how this evolves as the series continues forward, as we will probably be in Genora Rock for episode 2, at least based on the scenes we haven't experienced in the series from the trailers itself. Let's talk about the duel. Just beautiful with the colors and the background art, and the action, like damn, Orange really stepped up even harder than with Hoseki no Kuni, which makes sense since it's been 5 years now. I've already discussed Kenji Muto on my previous Trigun video, the director who storyboarded episode 1, so I wanted to give a little more focus on Naomichi Yamato, who was credited as the episode director. I haven't really seen any of his works prior to episode 1 of Stampede, so I went and peeped Noragami, as he was credited for the same role in 2 separate episodes there, and episode 2 really struck a chord seeing them back to back from Stampede, as the focus on the relationship of backgrounds to the characters themselves seems to be a through line for Yamato. Both Noragami episode 2 and Trigun positions characters with respect to buildings or backgrounds to give this almost interactive feeling as power lines in Noragami, and likewise the sand and vastness of No Man's Land each play into the thematic core of the series, well, of the extent of each series that I've gotten to thus far. Also, there's this background cut in Stampede during the duel where Vash runs after the bullet, and the blurriness of the background seamlessly transitions into the rock face itself, and it just looks so damn cool. And I noticed something somewhat similar in Noragami as well, although I will admit this could just be how the CG transition work with Orange's workflow and not the actual episode director itself. As with Noragami, the storyboarder is not Kenji Muto, but Kotaro Tamuro, the respective director of Noragami itself, and there's so many other things at play that shape an episode into how it presents itself. In addition, the comedic timings for both Noragami and Stampede's episodes were spot on, so I'll give that credit to Yamato. Although we don't have the ED yet for Stampede, Yamato uses it very well to add extra impact with the snowy filled episode in Noragami, so if Yamato gets another episode direction or storyboard later in the series, I'll definitely point that out. But instead of the ED, we got the OP, who also did the Fate Grand Order Babylonia OP2 with those sexy sand and particle textures and effects that really coats the humanity onto Vash. I love the visuals. Although the actual shots itself seem to be reused from episode 1, we'll see how it evolves more, but the textures themselves of the OP are perfect. Overall, great vibes. I am a little confused to how heavy-handed De Niro is with his lines, while the balance of the naive younger Meryl works really well. It is a shame that Millie doesn't seem present, but again, it's only the first episode, so who knows? We shall see. The world is rich with sand expanses, and although July seems to be the only city that we see on the map, even though Meryl did name drop November, the government of July, and yeah, I know, Crunchyroll did mistranslate it potentially. Looking for Vash is interesting, so we shall see what they continue to hunt for in this little barren town with a red plant. Subscribe for weekly Trigun content like this, although I'll probably just release these videos further in the week for the remaining run of the series. Peace.